Hello, my little weirdos. Um, Today I want to talk about it is January 7th, 2025. Um, Yesterday, the presidential certification went off without a hitch. I just got peanuts out for the Blue Jays. Um, it went off without a hitch because Democrats are not little children taking a temper tantrum when they lost. I still think there was a few things that should have been investigated, but it just, and I am by far not the only person who feels that something was done. Not quite sure what, but those last 2 months, it was as soon as Elon got on with all the money, suddenly ads that were lies, outright lies and manipulation were there, and contests, and go so on and on. The bomb threats on only swing states in polling places that were Democrat heavy, coming from Russia or China. All of this stuff just seems very suspect. But to go beyond all that, because of all that, we still, because we didn't have anything concrete at the moment, we did not go the same path as the Republicans did 4 years ago. Because we didn't organize an attempted coup with violence, try to stop the certification and change it. I want you all to remember, not only did they chant "Hang Mike Pence," they had a gallows set up at our Capitol. Remember that. Remember it like you remember 9/11 or 9/11. You should remember both of them. Remember that every year. Remember, they were not just peacefully protesting. They were not sightseeing. They were violent, and they wanted blood, and they got blood. One of the only ones of their own that were killed, they scream about it. She was breaking and entering and being told not to, and she did it anyway. With her background, she should have known. She should have known. When those words are said to you, she has said those words. She meant them, and so did the officer saying them to her that day. So it was unfortunate, but the only person that put her in that position was herself. She chose to travel to Washington, D.C. She chose to enter when she was being told not to enter, through a broken opening in the building. They made it open. They broke the window. She went in. She knew better. I'm not saying it's not sad, but the officers that day, that your crowd, that the Tangerines crowd, they did mean harm. They brought weapons and zip ties. They meant harm. They meant death. And nobody is going to obliterate that from my memory. Just like I can recite 9/11. I can recite what I was doing that day. I sat in that apartment, myself and the two cats, because I was watching the speeches, I was watching the certification. I'm one of those weird ones that watch it, that go and tune in and check out meetings and things like that on the floors, even in state capitals. And I saw it from when they started live streaming, basically. And I watched it the entire 14, was it, hours? And if some of it is fuzzy for you, there's videos out there for the duration. Knowing he's a felon, knowing he's a rapist, Kamala still held it together to do her duty. No matter how wrong it is for America, it's the law. So all of you MAGA, how are your egg prices? How are your egg prices in Colorado? I hear Colorado prices are going through the roof because they're having a lot of problems with the avian flu. How's that working for you, Groper? Haven't mentioned eggs for a while, have you? Because you all knew the egg prices were not Biden's fault. The egg prices were the avian flu. Yeah. And I understand China's going through a strange virus suddenly again. So, keep your eye on that. It started very quietly the last time, didn't it? Interestingly enough, when Trump was in office, and here he comes again. Are we going to have another pandemic we're fighting? I don't know. But I haven't heard anything on mainstream media about, or actually on any of the any kind of political stuff. I haven't heard anything that them mentioning any of. Now, I'm not listening to all of them, obviously. Yeah, but nobody's mentioned the little bug going on in China. And just remember, the last pandemic when Trump was in charge, remember he gave our machines and our tests and things to his little buddy Putin. We found that out, remember? All the shortages everybody was having, us included, he took and gave them our supplies. Remember that. Don't believe me? Go search. Did Trump give COVID help to Russia? Yeah, ventilators. He sent them things that our country needed. Just remember, he thinks of Russia before he thinks of us, of America. He showed that with the pandemic. He showed that when we were in desperate need in certain parts of this country for machinery and tests and stuff, he was off sending a bunch of shit to Putin. People keep yapping. MAGA keeps yapping. We need more God. We need more Christianity in this country. We need to go back to God. You know what? We don't need to go back to God or religion. Spirituality, perhaps. But spirituality is individual. It's not a big group that points fingers at each other while they're doing the same thing behind the alcove, you know? And you don't have to have any religion to be a civil, decent person. MAGA likes to say, oh, all these atheists and agnostics and anybody that doesn't believe in Christ. They're the problem, you know. No, because a lot of people that consider themselves religious are the biggest stepping on each other hypocrites that I've ever met. What this country needs is humanity, the good part, the part of the love thy brother, the caring, not just for you and yours, but when you and yours are safe, can you help somebody else? Does somebody need you that you can help? That isn't religion. That's just being a decent, civil human being. Because I know a lot of people that are atheist and agnostic or agnostic, and they're some of the most generous, loving, giving people. I also know people that are consider themselves religious, and are good people. And it doesn't have anything to do with, do you follow a religious set of rules? It has to do with the kind of person you are in your DNA, in the essence of who you are. Is your first reaction to something? What is your first reaction to this? What is your first reaction to that? What is the first reaction if it's somebody you care about? I mean, these are things that are base human emotions and reactions. Do you have a tendency to, you have plenty of food, but you want to slam the door in your neighbor's face, and you know for a fact they haven't eaten for days, but you just want to slam the door in their face and then throw out the bones and out by their front door? I mean, is that the kind of person you are, just to be a prick? You know, two people just getting by but living through something is much better than one living and being perfectly fit and fed and healthy and you're all alone. Well, that's lovely. If you're narcissistic, might not be so lovely for you because you ain't got nobody to adore you. And sometimes it's those kind of people that need people more than the loving and the giving kind. And that's because the people that are takers, they need others to feed off of. Literally and figuratively. They need people to take advantage of and to use and to abuse. And when they've used and abused and taken advantage of everybody within their reach, are you happy? Is that happiness? You know, that's one of the reasons why so many people decide to just let's put it this way, to decide when they run ahead. Because if you're not happy, or if the happy or the peace moments are outweighed by the distraught moments, people start feeling like, why struggle to be alive if all you have while you're alive is stress and worry and fear? Why even remain in earthly form? That is what causes a lot of people to make that choice. It's not a religious thing. The only thing is religion causes death is those who are trying to push it on other people and make them not only believe it, but, espouse it also. They just can't let it effing be. And I'll have a little information for you. The Bible says, bring it. If you want to believe, the Bible is what they say. It says, bring the gospel. Spread the gospel to others. It doesn't say, come in like an asshole, shove it down their throat, lambaste them if they say they don't believe, and curse them to death and hell if they ask you to leave them alone. I don't recall reading that in the Bible. If anybody knows where it's in the Bible that says to do that, I know the gospel to go and spread it, share it. But I'm not sure where sharing means shoving it down your throat, shoving it into government when it's not supposed to be there, making people listen to you. That's not loving. That's brutal. That's brutality. Yeah, that's assault. What this country needs is not to make you pray again. What this country needs is the basic human civilities. Everybody's so hot on, technology and all this stuff of advancement and like I said, tech and things. But I gotta tell you, you seem to be forgetting something. And Odyssey 2001 should have told you something, okay, with Hal the computer. You have to have sympathy, compassion. You have to, because if you don't put it into your machinery or your AI, and therefore it can never, ever be helpful until that time. That's what the United Healthcare, their denial department, it's got an AI being used in it. Does that tell you anything? That's what I found. It's good that department, at least until that point, had probably still is got AI use in it. So a computer's deciding. I mean, a doctor said, I was reading this, he had a patient in a coma on life support. They were looking for, they needed an MRI, an MRI or whatever it was. And it denied the MRI. They needed to find where this cancer was. And the surgeon wrote back, responded back that he would need the name and your medical license number and everything of the person that denied it. So, we could explain to the patient and in the records of why, you know, looking for looking at a cancer was not deemed necessary. That was different than the coma one. The other one was somebody was in a coma. She was on life support, and either deliberate or whatever. And the doctor had to go, and they wanted to know why it was important, why they needed this. And they're like, so the patient doesn't die? I mean, they had to go through like a couple things like this. When your doctor is sitting there saying, they need that so they don't die. Yeah. It makes sense if AI is doing it. Because AI is not programmed to learn emotion. And if they're trying, it's not successful. And you cannot put that into businesses. You see exactly what happens. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, I'm sure. And that goes back to this country needs to have that compassion, that fucking caring about other people. Seriously. And yet when they deny somebody for something, and then they're denied for something that's the same thing, when it's them or their family that needs that life savings, and oh, it's important. Why the hell didn't you can't deny me. It's covered. Oh, they sure the hell get pissed off then, don't they? When it's them or somebody they care about. Yeah, I bet they get their medical attention needed. So I don't want to hear it's religion, because religion is not supposed to be in the secular part of government. Read your freaking founding documents, people, for God's sakes. Hell, if you're MAGA and you bought his stupid fucking Bible for 4 times the amount it should have cost, read the damn documents in there. And by the way, that is not a Bible approved of God. I can guarantee you that. Because God doesn't just care about America. And those documents added to the Bible have nothing to do with any other country but America. So, any of your BS about he's going to make it better, you know damn well gas has nothing to do with the president per se. You already know the eggs had nothing to do with the president or any damn president, prime minister, or any other damn leader. It has to do with the avian flu. Okay? Like I said, there's another virus, shall we say. I'm not going to raise panic, but I have read about it a few days back. Enough where they were showing people in ICUs again. So, don't be surprised if COVID-25 hits. And I'm not even being an asshole. Just know that there is something going on there. And that is how this other thing started. So, people need to have a lot more. And I have to tell you, it's bad enough to be a bad loser, like you guys, like MAGA was in 4 years ago. But you guys are crappy ass losers, or winners too. You're shit winners. You are. Because you're still being punk ass liars. You're lying about shit. And you're still lying about stuff that's been debunked repeatedly. You won the damn presidency, legitimately or not. At this point, shut the F up, sit the F down, and take your freaking win that's going to wind into chaos to be anyway. You can't even be gracious winners. We told you, and that's it. You know? We didn't do that to you. We didn't. We celebrated the win, but we didn't rub it in your face like you're doing. You're despicable. You are. And you're the one screaming about shit needs to change, we need to get religion. No, what we need in this country is something that you obviously are not portraying, and that's compassion, empathy, sympathy, caring, giving a shit. That's a technical term. Kindness to others, kindness to people you care about, kindness to people you don't know, kindness to animals, kindness to the freaking nature. Most companies that are not even looking for more eco-friendly, substitutions or changes, the ones who aren't are generally Republican or, MAGA kind of people running those businesses. You're pathetic. And now you brought back probably the stupidest person y'all have ever had as a candidate. And trust me, with the Bushes, you've had some pretty not that they weren't nice people, but they weren't the brightest of the bunch. I can guarantee you that. Okay? One of the brightest guys who acted, you treated him like just a freaking hillbilly, was President Jimmy Carter. Because you know what? He knew physics. He was our only Nobel Prize president. And even as he's laying in state, Trump insults him. That's because deep down, Trump's hatred for these kind of people is because they're something that he could never aspire to be. Those people have millions of people who love them because of who they were, not because he forced you to bend your knee to him. Because Trump doesn't just want to be adored. He wants to be worshipped. He wants everybody to stand waiting on bated breath. What is he going to say? What's the king going to say? Oh, tell us, oh emperor. That's what Trump wants. He's not interested in respect. He just wants the external. A lot of those people can be hating those rulers' guts, but they do it with a smile on their face because they don't want to be killed or have their family killed because of what they did. And I'll have to tell you something. He's already got the MAGAs that are in Senate and House that are diehard MAGA. He's already gotten them to do it. Look at McConnell and Lindsey. 4 years ago, they were dripping with disgust for what he did on January 6th. What all you MAGA did. And because weak people in your party, they all bent to Trump. I hate that name. President rapist. President-elect rapist. The ones screaming the loudest about this country needs religion back are the ones that are so extremely deficit in humanity. The good parts of humanity, MAGA is seriously derelict in. The ones screaming the loudest, we're Christians, damn it, are the ones who aren't Christians. It's the ones who aren't yelling that they're Christians about every damn post and every comment, those are the real Christians. Okay? And by the way, everybody who's taken physical force, shall we say, against Trump have all been Republicans. People that took pot shots, Republicans. The Cybertruck explosion in front of the Trump building, Republican. Guy who ran through New Orleans parade on New Year's Eve, Texas, American born, Republican. Who's the one screaming the most about, we need this, and we need religion, and we need... Republicans. So maybe you should just zip your lip and start practicing what you keep preaching. Because you're preaching one thing and just oozing hate in real life. The shit that comes out of your mouth when you're in God mode, it's a hypocrite in action. So zip your lips and start showing your faith in action. How about that? I hear, was it Bezos or somebody got real scared recently and donated like a couple $1 billion or something. But yeah, y'all, you big CEOs, Bezos, and Zucky, Musk. I'd be watching my step if I were you, because you've pissed off the real Americans, the ones who actually know how to use law for the good. Because Republicans, the last decade, have only been using, especially the last decade, using it for abuse of power. The majority of those people are Republican. So, what we need is you Republicans to actually practice what you preach. You preach acceptance and love, and you're supposed to be changing other people's minds about religion by your works and your actions. Remember that part of the Bible? Remember that? That you show by your action, your works about, who you are and what you stand for. You keep forgetting that part of the Bible, seems to me. And that is one of the most important parts. Faith without works is dead. Don't let one hand see what the other hand is doing, looking for pats on the back and, that was me, I did that. Are you listening, Elon? Are you listening? Because Elon is not a genius, okay? He didn't invent Tesla. He didn't invent all these companies. He bought them. He bought them. He bought them. And has the actual tech geniuses doing the work from here on. I mean, he's not there. He's jumping around with a too short fucking shirt on stage like a little dork ass who never got the attention from daddy. He's not running his businesses. You really think he's the one making? Come on. For real. He's just the little figurehead that gets to prance around in front of the camera and display things once they're done, and feels that he's entitled to them because he put all the money into it. The money wouldn't exist without my money. Well, It wouldn't exist without the geniuses that actually did the work. Would it now, Elon? And the tyrannical tangerine toddler continues to have him around because he's an endless pocketbook. And that's what you think this country needs more of. You keep saying it's peace and love and kindness, but you hate, you're bigots, you're racists, you hate poor people, you look down on them like they're subhuman. You are the pathetic ones. You are the ones that the Bible warns about. You all keep thinking, oh, I can't wait for the rapture, I can't wait for this, I can't wait for Armageddon. If those ever actually occur, sadly, you're the ones that are going to have flames around you. Just saying. And it's not being haughty, it's because you're boastful, you're bragful, you're thieves, you're liars, he's a rapist. I mean, this is what you vote in. This is what you voted in, which can only tell me that you're of the same ilk. Somewhere along the line, you're one or a few of those same things. Otherwise, how could you stomach and actually be proud of having those people running things in this country? You're off your rockers if you really think that makes sense. So half of America, this is what MAGA thinks, half of America and the rest of the world are idiots and don't know what they're talking about, and you guys are the only ones on the planet that know the truth. Really now? Really? If those things ever do occur, man, are you guys in for a big old shock. And the rest of us that you tormented and abused, took advantage of, manipulated, that's when we'll get our smile. When we finally see the consequences of your actions. I'm just saying, all of these people that are doing this bad actions, like 98% of them are Republicans. And if that doesn't tell you anything, then you may be hopeless. You may be hopeless. Because that should tell you a whole lot. Let the comments roll. Peace out.